Footy's back. Ba-da-da, ba-ba, ba-da-da, ba-ba, ba-ba-ba-ba, ba-da, ba-da. That's right. Welcome to Footy Unfilterated. I do love the intro song, Ramshackle Army, because it just, it's just like footy's back for me, Jez. That's just how it goes.
Yep.
Like that's just now how it rolls. I'm like, now I get to talk about footy for the next hour and a bit, and it's going to be good. That's it. It is Footy Unfilterated. I'm your host, James Clements. On the other side of this here screen is everyone's favourite participant in seemingly the Essendon coaching panel, I assume. It's Jez. Jez, what's going on?
Well, not only am I participating in the panel, I'm also one of the candidates, and I've got as good a credentials as any, I promise. But I'm just sitting here with the what's going to happen in September this year behind me. It's your mighty Blues. They're going to win the flag, and this up here behind, that'll be history repeated. So I'll let people guess which one that is, but I reckon a real Carlton fan to know which grand final this one is behind me. But we'll let people have a bit of a Google see. It's not because I couldn't work out how to get it down to size to have it behind me. It's because I wanted to create a bit of mystery and, you know, a bit of fun for the viewers who watch us on YouTube. So nothing to do with my technical incapabilities, Jim.
No, like, why would it be? No one is doubting your technical abilities, Jess.
And anyone who does, I'll fight you.
Round 16 of the AFL is done. Footy is obviously fully back. We actually have...
it's two-thirds back, Jim. It's two-thirds back.
We've got two floating fixtures still, I think, at the end of the season, don't we? 23 and 24 are still, I think, they're a bit up in the air. But today, we're just going to wrap up round 16. It was a very interesting round. Some interesting games in there. We're going to wrap it all up. We've got our weekly awards. We've got some good nars. We're going to talk some Brownlow.
Oh, yeah.
Brownlow. And then we'll do our round 17 preview and picks. Spoiler alert, Jez is extending his lead at a rate of knots so far. But anyway, so the good thing is the AFL has also just gone and done themselves a bit of a mischief again, and it's just the recurring theme of this season. So we'll talk about that in a second. So without further ado, let's dig in. It's Footy without the bull. It's Footy Unfilterated. Jez. I was hanging out on Friday night, watched a little bit of the footy, then was hanging out with the singer of that band, the co-host of NFL Australia, Gaz, watching 28 days in Area 7 in St Kilda at the Prince Band Room.
Hell yeah.
I should have been handing out Footy Unfilterated like stickers and QR codes because that is, I think, our demo.
I guess I'll just note down to get onto that because it sounds after the Scarfighter show, I reckon that was I should have been flying in there as well. So we'll have to get on that, Jim.
There was a lot of AFL, NFL, NBA hats, and like that's my people, right? Very easy,
and mine, obviously.
And also when it comes to late 90s Australian punk pop. Like, that's also my people. So it works. Had a great time, drank a million beers. It was a sold-out show, just screaming my lungs out, having a great time. So
nice. Very,
very fun. But also, it sort of came with we'll get to this in a second. Gaz going, what time should we meet there? It's like Area 7's on at 8. So I don't know, like 7:30 or so. I'd gotten there pretty early. Anyway, he's like, I'll Uber down. He's like, who's playing the footy on Friday? I'm like, Hawthorn GWS. He's like, that'll be fine. There's no one going to that. And he was completely correct, which I'll get to in a second. So watched a bit of that, then went in and apparently didn't miss much. But anyway, righto, Jez. Before we start, just make sure you're kicking over the man of the mark. I mean, going back to your line, don't improve your angle. Oh, wait, no. Do something while you're kicking after the siren, but maybe don't because that's I think that's where we're at now with the AFL Rules Committee at the moment with the kicking a goal after the siren, right?
Yeah. It's
No one knows.
just make it up as you go. I don't even know what to say, Jim. Like, it's actually gone beyond. I'd love to say it's gone beyond a joke, but it's still just hilarious how incompetent they really are when it comes to everything.
So they backed the umpires after the Nick Watson debacle. And then this time, the umpires didn't allow the goal. They checked it. And were like, nah. But again, the AFL then came out and went, nah, it should have been a goal. So here we are.
Yeah. It's they've got to get this stuff right, because we can't have people like Gerard Whateley comparing it to tragic disasters like he did with the Ark and Chernobyl. Like, we can't have him, comparing this to this tsunami that wiped out a fair chunk of the world and killed a lot of people. Because I mean, if Gerard just needs to watch his blood pressure, because the way he carries on about these types of things, and getting heated, and him and Gary are going to be boom, 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 knocking heads, and it's a big hairy head, so there's a lot of padding there. But Gerard's nose is quite large and obviously blocked quite a bit. So we really need to start getting on top of this, because a lot of these guys in the media who are supposed to be telling us what's happened, they're really getting their knickers in a twist, and I really worry about their blood pressure and health, to be honest, Jim. It's becoming an epidemic, I think, of the middle-aged football commentator that's going to. What do we have to? Do we have to wait for one of them to drop dead from a heart attack, Jim, before the AFL do something about this?
Won't somebody please think of the AFL media cognoscenti?
Well, I can hear Kane Corns' blood boiling right now. He doesn't even know we're talking about. He's just got a sixth sense in the back of his giant hollow noggin that is telling him, I think I need to be angry about something.
Is that part of the Kane Inferno or whatever it's called?
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know, but I think he just got hit by an arrow from Caro or something like that.
He should probably get that looked at, I reckon. The point being, this is actually, it's getting to a point, as you've just sort of loquaciously pointed out, it's actually a genuine problem. And Chris Fagan after the game was like, look, the AFL admitted they got it wrong. Do we get the 6 points?
Yeah.
And these are it'll affect Logan Morris in the Coleman race. It'll affect even minusculely, but we have seen it come down to very, very minuscule amounts when it comes to the finals race, ladder positioning, and your percentage. A goal can make a bit of a difference sometimes here and there, right? And the fact, they need to 100%, I think they've put this weird onus on the umpires, as you broke down, I think it was the last week, that they're trying to do too much.
Way too much.
There's a very simple, look, it's a kick after the siren. Is the player taking any sort of unfair advantage, or is he legitimately, do you think he's playing on? Seriously? If he's not essentially it's all broken down to the simple idea, right? If you're kicking over the man in the mark or in their general vicinity, we don't need the umpires to be geometry experts, but as long as you don't improve the angle to the goals, really, or get off your line, what are we doing? The Logan Morris thing, as I'm watching that, I'm like, they're going to screw this up, aren't they? And as they're lining it up, and he's being really, 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 really sort of circumspect and very deliberate in everything he's doing, and they're like, oh, but yeah, he didn't get back to his line, I think. The commentators were flummoxed. Everyone was flummoxed. He was flummoxed. And they're like, oh, yeah, but yeah, we screwed that up because he didn't improve it. He did kick it over the man on the mark. What are we doing here? Just let the umpires just chill and just go, they know what they're doing for the most part, right?
There's far too much grey.
It's just stupid to be going, you guys need to be adjudicating this sort of stuff. Just let them, as they have done for 100+ years, figure out, was that playing on? Was that taking an unfair advantage? And if not, it's fine. And shut up and get out of it.
there's
Done.
one word called discretion, and it's something that we obviously don't have in a lot of authority these days. Like, back in the day when we were kids and we got busted writing rude words on a wall with a texter, and the copper found us, his discretion would be, well, he can go down the path of giving us, going through the official things, or he can give us a kick up the backside and make us go and clean it up. May or may not have happened to me, cannot confirm or deny. But nowadays, they have to go through the right channels because that's just how it is. What they don't have to do on an AFL field is do everything by the book. It's discretion, the umpire's discretion. Feel for the game is the biggest one, all right? If the umpires want respect from players, coaches, fans, that one probably may not ever happen, but if they want to get somewhere near it, they need to be allowed to have a feel for the game and use their discretion. Okay, yes, that might have been a technical non-goal, which obviously it wasn't, but Logan Morris, yeah, look, I don't think he was intending to play on. He had a shot. It's how he does it. When you see someone like Jack Higgins run 14 kilometres around in a circle and then kick, that's play on. I just think the Buddy Franklin rule, this one should be called, is that there should be a tolerance, and maybe not as much as, Buddy would start on the halfback flank on the left-hand side of the ground and kick it from the forward pocket on the right. And nobody ever said a word about that. But there has to be some sort of clear line with that, with the 30-second rule for taking a shot. And I hark back to the, Footy Unfilterated Cup where your mate Harry McNot-Quite-5, took 45 seconds for a shot that he didn't take. These things are so easy, and the AFL have set a precedent that they will change rules and make shit up as they go along. Why can't they do it to fix stuff that is actually broken instead of fixing the stuff that doesn't need touching?
Yep. Well said. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So here we are. The cool thing is, we'll forget about this one and there'll be a new one next week. But
I think this is a point where one of us has to declare that we'll never watch football again.
If we were Wayne Carey, we're done. I'm never watching footy again.
I'm never watching footy again ever. And then he's at the next game live.
Mitch Brown should have worn a shirt. What are you talking about, Wayne Carey, idiot? This is the big problem with social media. It's given the dumbest people on the planet a really loud voice. There was another. So on top of this as well, right? So Tom Morris came out talking about how there was a players' association group that came to the AFL and the rules committee, essentially, basically seeking clarification on behalf of the players about the stand rule, which is predictably hilarious throughout the season. They're bang on about it for the first 6 to 8 rounds of the season, and then suddenly there's a little bit more wiggle room, and now we're just sort of hitting a point where it's all right, if you get pinged for it, you're an idiot. The change to the ruck rules, which
are dumb.
They are kind of dumb. It's getting to, was it Brodie Grundy gave away 4 free kicks, I think, in the ruck alone.
Which was interesting because when early on, he was the one who was making the most of it, and now it's flipped on its head to. It's just reinventing the wheel for the sake of reinventing the wheel. It's a rule that doesn't need to exist. There's no issue with a slight cross of the line. Again, come back to what I said before, discretion. You can tell when a player is trying to shepherd out another player. Okay? 100%. You can tell. There doesn't need to be a rule to make sure that you can call it. If a player crosses the line, turns his back and tries to block the space, guess what? That's what he is doing. If he accidentally steps a half centimetre over the thing in trying to jump and contest the ball, he's not trying to take the other person's space. I'm a rather large ruckman and used a lot of my size and girth to take the space against the younger and more athletic ruckman. And it was an advantage to me. If I had to play in this day and age, because they do this at local level as well, I wouldn't be able to play ruck because they're taking away all I would do is turn my back and keep on the line, but they'd think I'm shepherding them out because I'm turning my back. So it's just, I still think we need to leave the ruckman. It doesn't matter who it is. Stop this nominating stuff is garbage. You don't need to nominate. just throw the frigging ball up, umpire. If one player from Essendon goes up against one player from Carlton, guess what? That's all that has to happen. If two players from Carlton happen to go up against that one, then you can blow a free kick. Now, as long as they don't hit each other high, I reckon just let them go. Have full ice hockey goon style and let them beat the crap out of each other.
I like it. I think that's been okay this year. They've just gotten on with it. They don't care about the nomination anymore. It's just like, you guys better be ready. Quick, I'm throwing it up, and off it goes, right? It's pretty...
But you still hear them yelling out for, Essendon Ruckman! Essendon Ruckman!
They're just like letting you know, but it seems like they don't actually care that much. And the amount of times you'll actually see them throw it up and there's no one else there, you're like, that's fine. Keep it moving.
And that's helping the game flow, isn't it? It's I don't know.
Awesome. It was like stark how different it's been this year. It's not quite, the changes of baseball where it's sped the game up that much, but it's certainly moving a lot quicker and it doesn't bog down anywhere near as much as it did. So you've got the stand rule, the ruck rules, and last disposal. They've wanted to chat about these. They've got some feedback they've given them. And I think it should be pretty straightforward. It's like the stand rule, just don't, as you said, right? Don't be a dick. It's fine. Same with the ruck one. And last disposal, look.
Get rid of that review.
It's just like no reviews. The amount of times Carlton got penalised for that earlier this year, that was hilarious. It was stupid. It was just ridiculous. And they've never done it again since. And the amount of times you actually watch a game and you're like, oh, so we're not going to check that now. Okay, good. Yeah. That's fine. As long as that's what we're doing.
It's the randomness of the review that I think pisses everyone off because you have one game where they review absolutely every single one that is even borderline contentious, and in the next game they don't review any of them. What I would hate to see is that this decides a grand final. That's when you actually start to lose viewers because you've got this awesome game. And let's be honest, the way the game is played, aside from these issues, is bloody awesome to watch. It's free-flowing, it's fast, probably a little bit too fast. But we seem to make all these rules to speed it up and then go, oh, hang on a minute, there's my foot, where's my gun? Slow down! And it's just...
Yeah. We're all trying to find the guy who did this, right?
Yeah. Insert Spider-Man meme here.
Verbal memes. Anyway, so there you go. That's the weekly whinge. I reckon that just should be the...
I think you might be right.
That's the segment. It's just the weekly whinge. Otherwise, we've got the buys. They're all done now, which is fun. So the ladder makes sense.
Thank God for that.
It's good. It only took to round 16. Great job, everybody.
I feel like we've had buys since every week since 2023. It's...
amazing for Supercoach.
I'll bet.
Essendon have a coaching selection panel, as I mentioned, which is made up of cooler heads and outside voice. Oh, no, it's just all Essendon, as you'd expect. So it's Andrew Welsh, Anthony DiPietro, Ted Richards, who's your governance committee chair. And DiPietro's the
Richards,
vice president. Tim Roberts, who's the CEO, and Caroline Monson, who's people and cultures executive. Awesome. So I don't know, how long does it take them to just write the name James Hird on a piece of paper and then just hand that over?
I actually heard an interesting report that he may have been sounded out for a director of football style position rather than the coaching gig. Now, the thing about reports is, Jim, you don't know whether to believe him because according to one senior journalist, Essendon were going to make contact with Matthew Lloyd.
Awesome. How
much that? And first he comes out and goes, "I've got no interest in coaching. Why would they ask me?" Tick. I love how I've noticed a little trend of people starting to call out these journos for clearly making stuff up. There was obviously the report with Zach Butters saying that he'd already told his teammates, and he was asked about it after the showdown on Saturday and said, well, I don't know where they got that from because it's completely wrong. And I'm like, yes, go. So I want to see, that's a side note to this. I want to see more of that. That'd be ace. Look, it's hard to say. Andrew Welsh, I think, is a little bit smarter than what he portrays, and I think he's playing this quite well. He's throwing things out like Dean Solomon will be the coach, and he's throwing a few little red herrings out, or at least I'm hoping so. But it's hard to say. There's such a such a big, ridiculous push for James Hird to be the coach involved. I don't have an issue with him being involved. I do have an issue with him being the senior coach and I've said this before, I won't go into it too much, off so long out of the game as a senior coach. But him being involved, I could see probably would have better, as an Essendon person, as someone who's clearly very well business-minded, a better go at it if he wasn't the coach, but maybe was a director of football. So I would, look, I don't know. I think they just need to get it done, to be honest with you. I think they need to get it done, announce it ASAP, and let Dean Solomon do the day-to-day, and whoever's coming in next, let them start to go through the list and work out, start speaking to players and all that. I think the sooner they can get that, they're on the front foot then when it gets to the silly season. Because no one ever wants to sign with the club if they don't know who the coach is going to be, do they?
That's it. I think it's good optics, right? It's like, we've got him involved, but we're not doing the silly thing and making him the head coach again.
Keeps everyone happy.
You're placating the morons who are like, only Herd will save Essendon, and sort of like being smart about it, and that's probably the best way to go. Otherwise, my beloved Suns are a basket case, so that's pretty fun.
The old Fold Coast Suns.
A lot of Petrarca murmurs again emerging, which is very funny. And
the Hardwick to Essendon one was, I don't know if you saw that, but I had a little giggle when I saw that one.
No, I didn't, but that's awesome. So,
might have been a Tom Morris or Sam McClure special, but
love it. I did have the question, like, did the Blues and Suns just piss in the same fountain in front of the MC something in May and Freaky Friday themselves? I don't know what's happened. It's crazy.
It could have been an electric fence. There's such a massive shift in the fortunes of the two.
He's just on Damien Hardwick's property, just pissing on a fence. Well, the Blues do have a chance to do it's 2026. You don't have too many AFL firsts still floating around, but they do have the opportunity, if they were to win this week, to be the first team in AFL history to lose 7 straight, then win 7 straight in the same season, which is pretty crazy. So very fun. Anyway.
Well, I want to know if they're going to be the first to sack their coach and then win the flag in the 1 year.
interim coach Josh Fraser.
But I still don't think I'm right for the gig as he's holding the cup up.
Don't know I'm the right guy for the job.
Yeah.
Showdown was a bit meh, and it was good because I don't think we copped as much of the "you should move it to the MCG" kind of vibe this week. And it's always weird how they sort of do that. It was awesome because it was a standalone showdown on a Saturday night. The big problem was the game itself sucked. So you're just like, well, that wasn't as good as I kind of hoped. Oh, well, Port were just absolutely incredibly good. The Crom were not. We'll talk about that in a second. Jamie Cripps retired, another injury setback. Eagles premiership player. Bit of a sad one.
2025 leading goal kicker.
Crazy vibes. And what do we got? Tristan Cherry is he's been cleared to actually return after a little bit of his jaw procedure last week. Speaking of injuries, Amadi Party, not at the moment. 10 weeks at least on the sidelines with a partially torn Achilles.
Ouch.
Can slightly relate, but I didn't actually tear mine, and it, sidelined me for 10 years. Anyway.
Still got 7 or 8 to go.
Still rehabbing. But that sucks for Joel Amadi. It's very, very interesting. This is why you get a Charlie Curnow, and you go, we've got a bit of built-in redundancy with Logan McDonald and Charlie Curnow and all of our sort of big, tall dudes who can go back and clunk a few. And Charlie sort of turned a bit of a corner last few weeks, so see how he goes. But they also lost Sam Wicks 4 to 6 weeks to a hammy, sneakily important player for them. Tough one for Grew on GWS, with dislocation of his patella. Jesus. That's a tough one, so he's probably done for the season at the moment. Yeah. No Nick Watson for this week as well. He came off at halftime after kicking, 3 goals already?
Three. I think there was two after the hamstring
Yeah, sort of limping
apparent
around.
strain. Yeah, he didn't look right, but then all of a sudden the ball came near him and he had the Jets on. So
It was pretty funny watching a bit of that. I'm like, oh yeah. So he's not going to play this week. I think, are they in, I want to say they're in Tassie this week.
I think they are, yeah.
And so, yeah, may as well just not go down there and get it too cold. And
well, him and Sicily might as well stay home. So
hanging out by a warm fire, drinking red wine instead.
Yeah, they're playing Melbourne at UTAS Stadium on Saturday afternoon. Yeah, so that'll be interesting. It'll probably be 4 degrees and beautiful weather.
I don't know why we put Tassie games in the middle of June, but here we are.
It's like playing in Ballarat in July.
I was there on Sunday. I'm just like, why? It is so cold here. What are we doing?
Oh, Saturday was beautiful. Sun was out, and then as soon as it went behind a cloud, it dropped from 15 degrees to about 2 degrees. But it was a cracking day. It was just freezing.
Same on Sunday. It was beautiful, like out the backyard. When you're in the sun, you're like, this is not too bad. You step literally into the shadows, like, oh, God, I need to go get my hoodie.
Yeah.
No Zorko, no McCluggage for the Lions this week either. They're off for another week. A few other returnees, but you'll see that when they do teams. That's not our job here. Let's wrap up some games very quickly. Brisbane, this was an awesome game. That was so good. 126 over Sydney 83. Very odd game. Chad Warner was absolutely unreal. Haney kept racking them up. And the Lions never looked threatened at all. Like, it was...
They just coasted.
Weird. Absolutely. Halfway through the second quarter, they just sort of went, we're good. Logan Morris, keep doing good stuff. Ashcroft, I do love the... it doesn't even matter which Ashcroft, but I feel like Levi is particularly more annoying than Wilbert because it's like very, like, you know, I've got the two squids. The younger one is substantially more yappy and than the bigger one. And I feel like we've got that with Levi here. It's crazy. You're just like, oh...
He's got a punchable face too, and it's probably because Big Brother is probably fairly protective, but he's he's one that you would like to see run through. Byron Pickett would be a very handy addition to any side playing them, put it that way. I know what you mean though. He's very he's very grating.
But this was a big win for the Lions. Like, sort of just keeps them back on track, jumps them up into the. They're now 5th on the ladder after all that. So they've won 3 on the trot with a bye in the middle of that, and just putting good teams to the sword all of a sudden. Then they've got this awesome game this weekend against the Cats, which will be very, very fun. Swans. I mean, this is why we both went Brisbane. I think it's just Errol Goulden back, but you sort of. You know, they lose the Marty Party.
And he was always going to need a week or two to find his fit. And it showed. Like, he was all right. He wasn't awful by any stretch, but he also wasn't setting the world on fire. And like you said, aside from the two mentioned, Chad and Isaac, they, the Lions just, they had an even performance. They didn't have any massive standouts. One, I think Draper did a fair job over, not so much that he kept him quiet, but he sort of nullified him enough that he gave the advantage to Brisbane, which if you can get that sort of break even and even a slight advantage over Brodie Grundy, you're going a long way to having a win like they did. But he didn't get a lot of the footy. He broke even at the tap outs. He provided a presence around the ground and when he went forward. Brodie Grundy actually had to play on him, which is, I think that's one thing that a lot of teams don't do to Brodie Grundy. So I think Brisbane might have. They're definitely tracking in the right direction, especially for this time of year.
This is what they do.
I can't believe we were fooled by the slump, Jim.
I don't think we were ever fooled though. Like, I think we've been very cognizant of the very simple fact that this is what the Lions do, and as long as they're sort of there or thereabouts when it actually matters, they're terrifying. Like, they're not going to drop off the face of the planet. Like, they're still awesome. And here we are. They're waxing Sydney. Friday, Hawthorn were waxing GWS, and then they let them back into the game in the second half. 96-82 in the end. They were smacked. Like, I left when I was watching it just before halftime, I'm like, oh, this is over. Like, they're killing him. GDO is completely off the pace. What was it, like around 30 or 40, I think, when I went into the show. And I'm like, yep, don't have to worry about that one. And then came out and I'm like, oh, geez, they must have come flying back. And to a degree, they kind of
100% took the foot off the gas, the Hawks. And it wasn't lost on the commentary team that GWS is a team that can put 14 goals in a quarter onto a team, and I think they were kind of hoping for that. But Hawthorn, they did it. They did it early. You know, they did the hard work early and just sort of coasted through in the second half. Again, there wasn't any massive standouts for them either. They sort of just did what they had to do and got the job done. So I think they're all carrying on about Sam Mitchell being peed off and all that sort of stuff. But I think he would have been happy enough to get out of there without any other major injuries than the Wizard. Yeah. So I think
it is always weird. How like the Hawks, like you do look at like the stats and stuff, and you're like, how do they never have like the majority of dudes in like the top 10 disposal getters and all that sort of stuff? They sort of just never do, and you're like, this. It's just they have such a egalitarian game plan, right? That it's kind of everybody pitching in, and sort of everybody is super duper solid, and there's not that many weak links. And
I think that's how they've managed to navigate, because they've had some decent injuries. Like they've only just got Tom Barrass back. They've still got Gunston out. They're going to have Nick Watson out. They've had Will Day out for a while. So it's not like they haven't been sort of hit with the injury bug that everyone seems to get, but they've won the games they should have won. They've been in some of the games that they've lost. You know, like they were in a winning position against Freo. You know, they've obviously been upset a couple of times, but I think they're just sort of maybe sliding under the radar a little bit, Jim.
Yeah, it's interesting. They are. Good on them. Saturday, took the squid to this one. Carlton West Coast, 117-64. It was getting a little bit hairy there for a little bit. The third quarter wasn't exactly banner football, and then the Blues blew the absolute doors off him in the fourth, kicking like 5 goals at a very rapid pace, and especially down the stretch, it was just like bang, bang, boom. The biggest thing in this game, like Harry was awesome. Harry McFive. He only got to Harry McThree, unfortunately. I had actually, jumped on with you, backed him to kick 5. Was feeling very good when he booted one very early, and I'm like, look out, here we go.
Yeah,
this could be on for young and old. Then he missed one around the corner, and he just didn't touch it again for like another quarter. And then by the time he got that, the entire turning point of this game was his third quarter goal, I want to say. Yes. Towards the back end of the third quarter, basically an amazing turnover chain. Had been in like the West Coast forward 50 for it felt like 5 minutes. And they'd managed just to get a turnover and then a quick chain of handballs. And this is Josh Fraser ball out of nowhere, right? Like the speed with which they play now versus the way they were under Voss, and those turnover chains where they can actually hurt you. It was incredible. It was like bang, bang. It was 2 kicks. And then Harry had a paddock in front of him, runs onto it. That was exactly like directly in front of where we were on level 1. And when he bounced it, you're like, oh, jeez. But then he managed to hit it perfect. It was fine.
Yeah.
And runs into an open goal and puts it into the second level. And you're like, I think we're going to be right now. And they were from there, right? I think they kicked Francisco Evans could have iced the game off his own boot at the back end of the third quarter, kicked 2 points back to back. We were just like, can we just put him away? I just don't want to have to stress about this. And then by the time Harry kicked his third at the start of the fourth, it was pretty much all over Red Rover because they were sort of up by more than just about the amount of goals that West Coast had probably kicked. But the point being, this was in a bit of contention early. Like West Coast aren't as bad as they have been in years past. Harley Reid, you had the 2 9s going against each other, which was awesome. Cripps and Harley Reid. They were basically just trading don't argues at different points, which was pretty Cripps loved getting into his face about it. Cripps takes the points, I think. But Harley Reid was still really good. The goal that he kicked was absolutely like straight out of the guts, just bang, bang, just from outside 50. You're like, oh, God. But so much of this like really relied on like couple of like wasteful turnovers, a couple of misses. They couldn't take a mark inside 50 mostly for the West Coast Eagles.
Yeah.
To the point where I don't know if they had one until the fourth quarter. You're just like, Jesus. Harry Dean and his fist were remarkable. So that was pretty good. And Taylor Byrne, I think he lined up a shot. I made an old lady laugh, Jess. This was probably the highlight of my weekend. I'm sitting there with the oldest squid, and Taylor Byrne had a kick. It's a nice little mark. They'd sort of centered it, got it to him. I think he'd already kicked one, and you're like, all right, this is good. Lining it up. He's the little fella. And I'm like, geez, I don't know if his tiny little legs can kick it that far. And the old lady next to me just absolutely lost it. And I'm like, yeah, I've still got it. Still got it, yeah.
Oh, look. So just check the website for a list of dates that Jim will be at the local nursing home doing his stand-up routine.
Carving it up. I'll just talk about, Val Rich and Alex Chesanenko. It'd be awesome. Anyway.
Couple of jokes about the black box in an aeroplane and how they should make the whole aeroplane out of the same material.
Whole aeroplane out of it. What do we do? Anyway, he kicked that goal, and it was absolutely awesome. It brought the house down. But yeah, there was sort of other moments with Taylor Byrne kicking those goals. I think he ended up with 3 and was awesome. And then Jagger Smith kicks a goal, basically bangs on the boot. The siren sounds as it's in the air. The place goes absolutely wild. So
3 goals for young Byrne.
Very fun day to take the win.
Can confirm that there was only 4 marks inside 50 for the entire game for the West Coast Eagles.
That is actually
20 for the Carlton Football Club, as I know you love for them to be called.
I love it when we call them football clubs. It's just nothing sends me into a happier place.
The one thing I think that has been a big factor in your resurgence, Jim, is Sammy Walsh and his efficiency. I've noticed over the last few weeks in particular, it's been above 90%, which for him is ridiculous because he's normally hovering around the 60, 70%, and turnovers have been his thing. He's been really low down on the turnovers. So it's whatever he's done, obviously done something to change the way he goes about it, and it's paying off.
Yeah, they scored 44 points from defensive 50 chains in that game, which is pretty massive, obviously. But I think,
awesome.
More to the point about like what's changed. It's like Blakers, has gotten back and gotten back up to speed very quickly.
Yeah.
Chera, I think I still could probably beat Adam Chera in a foot race, but his usage on the wing specifically has been really, really good. But most importantly, I think the very simple idea, like Nick Newman came back into this team and they've been awesome ever since, right? There's just like that steadying presence. They've lost Weeders. Harry Dean has been absolutely unreal, who I'll talk about later, but yeah, Nick Newman, unreal. Collingwood, 106, Richmond, 72. Sure.
Yep.
Good job, Pop. Yeah. I
mean, did what they had to do.
Dacos to go show again, right? And just did the damn thing. I mean, the biggest story to come out of this is Lockie Schultz versus Dan McStay, wasn't it? And you're like,
yep.
Nothing like a good punch on between teammates, or at least just a bit of a hissy fit between teammates, which is always just as good. And the Tigers, I mean, questions are sort of starting to be asked about, like, it's been a long time, this rebuild, and it's sort of getting to a point you're like, all right, what do they have? And like Sam Lawler being sort of out the entire time is a bit of a real kick in the guts. And
what they do have is a massive injury list.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. It's
that's a reality. They've got a massive injury list. So even though they're playing kids, they're not playing their preferred kids. Like you look at some of the names that have been regulars over the last year or two are out for the season. Like as you said, Sam Lawler, Gibcus. Who was the other one? Jonty Fall. You know, these are all guys that they've obviously got pinned for key positions and as the core of their thing. They're not even playing. So they're literally pulling guys out of the stands. I only didn't get a game because I forgot to take my boots. But that's where they're at. So I think this year that you can just go, if they get a couple of wins, which they've got a couple of wins, they'll probably pinch one more. I reckon they'll pinch one more before the season's out because they're competitive, Jim. Like Collingwood should have belted them by probably 10 goals. Let's be honest. But they stay in games for 2-3 quarters, and all their margins, aside from a couple of massive blowouts, have been around that 30, 40 points, which I think it's a bit of an overreaction for all the carry on about how their rebuild's taking it. Like, they just won 3 flags not long ago, and their fans can't even turn up to a game. Like, it's pathetic, to be honest.
It is tough.
Just deal with it.
That's the injury stuff, though, as well, right? Like when
100%.
you're sort of bereft of like that, sort of those shining little lights that you want to go see and sort of watch as they build into their AFL careers and whatnot. Yeah, it's sort of hard to sort of go, we're going to be watching dudes who should be in the VFL. It's real, real hard. Showdown, as mentioned, Port Adelaide, 97, Crom, 71, WTF. This was... Everyone except for Darcy Fogarty forgot to show up for this game. Rankin didn't do much. Rochelle was absolutely lost at times, and Port ran rings around him. Butters was off his head. Hornet was really, really good. Even like they should have won this by way more as well. Georgiades sprayed 4, I think, off the side of his boot at different times, and they also had the great Mitch Georgiades sprint off in this game, which was absolutely unreal. Where he had basically chasing down like the backwards kick and like putting all that pressure on. And that's why the Power won this game. Like Ken Hinkley's in the commentary box just going, what the hell was this when I was Yes. But anyway, Adelaide absolutely no-showed. And this is, I mean, they did bang on about it in the commentary as well about this all game. It's like, this is a big game for both teams. Obviously, it's the Showdown. We get it.
Yeah.
Port's season's still alive. Yes, barely it is. But this is big for Adelaide, like in terms of finals positioning and with like what are we up to around 17? What's that? 7-8 rounds left. There's not much room for not much margin for error at this point for the Crom. And for them to no-show that game was really, really brutal.
And I think for Port, it actually it changed my opinion of them a bit. I've been saying all year they're garbage. I think they're a little bit better than garbage. Maybe they're rubbish. But I think they could have been a good side this year and probably better than where they are. And maybe those close games, it's finally come together for them because I think, you sort of have these results where you say it was more that Adelaide shit the bed rather than Port Adelaide. But this was more that Port Adelaide actually shut them down and outworked them and did everything you need to do to win games of footy and, against good sides. I would be saying the same thing. Where's this been for Port Adelaide? Like, obviously, you get what you get from Zach Butters. He's an absolute superstar and, he sort of put the team on his shoulders and they all sort of went with him. But for Adelaide, it's like you can't afford to have these. You sort of had enough of these kind of games. You need to start actually keep staying in games like this and winning them, or at least, not letting teams shut you down, especially teams that are sitting 6 positions below you on the ladder. Like, I think last week we spoke and said that this corresponding Showdown last year was a massive win to the Crows, and we thought that could happen, and it was probably the most likely scenario. What's happened here is probably the least likely outcome that I think a lot of people... I don't think anyone in the tipping comps I'm in, Jim, picked Port Adelaide. Not one person. I think I'm in 2 or 3, and I didn't see the Port Adelaide logo for any of them.
It's crazy. Like, if they had won, they would have been clear in 4th.
Yeah.
By themselves. Instead, they're tied on 9 wins with everyone 4 through 9.
Yeah. So they lose this week and they can be as low as 9th, maybe even 10th, depending on what's happening behind them.
Tough one. Can't believe you don't show up for the Showdown. Sunday we had North 79, Essendon 65. This game was so bad. I was like watching this at my beloved grandmother's house. It's her birthday today. So happy birthday, Mary.
Happy birthday, Mary.
Fan of Footy Unfilterated, no doubt. We are huge with the 95 plus audience.
Good to hear.
Ironically, the other Mary on the other side of my family, my wife, old mate, her grandma, her birthday's today as well. 99.
Ooh.
We are crushing 95 plus demo. I'm just saying.
And they're both
she's
both named Mary.
Both named Mary, both
That
due
is
30. Remarkable, isn't
both end of financial year babies. Look out.
Yeah. EFS hit pretty early on. Watching this
Happy
game,
birthday, Marys. Happy birthday.
I was just so angry having like why is this game on? Like, this is just atrocious. Did you end up going to this?
No, I thought better of it. Look, it was pretty ordinary. I was actually out in the yard tidying up and kind of lost track of time, so I switched it on about halfway through the second quarter, and we were actually up, and I'm like, oh no. And sure enough, by halftime we were down. But look, North should have won this game by a lot more. Well, they ended up kicking, like, I think at one stage I vaguely remember them being 9-14, and it was like their fifth behind in a row. But 10 goals 19 they ended up on.
19.
They had so many opportunities to just put the smack down on a team that deserves it, but they just couldn't. One positive I did see, and they carried on a bit about it on the coverage, is it looked like Essendon were actually trying to move the ball slowly out of the back line. Now, for those of you who have been following along the whole time, you would have heard several rants from moi about our ball movement out of the back line. And for me, this is a good sign. We didn't do it very well, mind you. Our defending was horrible, but at least they actually got a plan and they're trying to stick to it. So that said to me, well, maybe they aren't as dumb as what I think they are. Or maybe Brad Scott and Michael Voss were sharing notes. Who knows? But I for one, and it might be the unpopular opinion of the day, Jim, but I actually was happy to see that we were trying something. Might not have worked. It might not have been the right thing to do as far as David King and all his knobhead mates think. But I for one was glad to see that we were trying something. That's like about it. We were trying something, but yeah, it didn't really.
Look, it works for me because.
Now look at me, please. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
Look at me. Look at me. They tried. Good on them. That's all you can ask sometimes, isn't it?
A for effort, Jim. A for effort.
Roos, that's their first 3-game winning streak since 2019. That is yeah. It's a bit rough. Now, another team that didn't show up. North, look, I still believe they'll be fine.
Yeah.
They're obviously right there in contention for a wildcard spot, etc. So to win these games, that's all you can ask. You'd rather see them do it a bit nicer, a bit better, but they keep winning some of these, so that's good. A team that is not doing that are my beloved Suns. 80-29. They got absolutely whomped over in the West. This game was gross. I was excited because I'm like getting home from California. You're like, all right, now I can watch the footy, and the game is probably not going to be as bad as that one I just watched a bunch of at my grandma's house. And then it was the Suns and the Dockers, and I'm like, if I make the Squids watch this, it feels like child abuse. So what are we doing? Let's not do this. But I did want to point out, Jez, this doesn't happen very often here on Footy Unfilterated. But what did the Suns kick? Oh, yeah!
Woo!
Yeah, that's right. They kicked 311. You beauty. That's right. We have not been able to do that in Footy Unfilterated because no one else has been that inept all year. I think we've had like periods where teams have been on 311, but they haven't finished the bloody game on a meager 29 points. The Suns looked completely out of sorts. They got absolutely curb stomped by the Dockers. Now, our power rankings go up usually Thursday, Fridays each week. They engender some sort of debate. And a lot of people take a few problems with the Freo Freo love that goes on in these power rankings. Because I do feel like some of the humour goes over some heads, Jez. But I'm not here to point out that or
I'm not sure
really
what you mean, Jim.
point any fingers. But my God, they might not lose again, which I'll get to in a second. They were awesome. They were absolutely everywhere. Between Tracy, you had a miss, Amos, whatever you want to say. I had to explain the prancing pony to the squid. Why is he the pony, and why is the unicorn kicking to the pony? And I'm like, well,
even though they're Dockers, they're very equine orientated.
Yeah, we don't have great nicknames, and like Luke Jackson, the unicorn. It's like, I think it was Willem Dersma was compared to Wemby last week by the Western Australian. It's like Luke Jackson is right there.
Yeah.
What are we doing? He's like, if you want to find, Dersma was fine on Saturday when he played against my beloved Blues. But Luke Jackson was, again, unreal, carved them up, and the Dockers are another subbable force of purple power. So kind of
that just shows how much the Western Australian media hate the Dockers.
Oh, yeah.
They are so far up West Coast proverbial that they hate them. Then that's what's going to make it so much better when the Dockers don't lose another game, is because they're going to be like, oh, we have to say something nice about them. Somebody Google nice things about the Dockers.
All right, let's quickly do some awards from the week. Gablett Areas, the best on ground of the week of the week. Zach Butters for me. He just dominated that showdown. It was crazy how good he was.
Yep.
37 disposals, 23 contested possessions, 13 clearances, 11 inside 50s, 700 metres gained, 9 score involvements, and a partridge in a pear tree. Like, it was absolutely ridiculous how good he was. And they sort of, like, the commentators cotton on like halfway through. They're like, hang on, he's absolutely dominating. And it's like, yes, he is. Yep. Have you not been watching this game? What is happening? It was pretty wild.
I'm certain they don't watch games sometimes, especially Dwayne Russell. I'm pretty sure he's just sitting there just blah, 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 and then they go, oh, we'll just put the screen in front of him so it looks like he's watching the game. The other thing that he did that tips him over the line for 100% in the voting here is calling out a journo for making stuff up. I loved it, and more. I want to see more of it.
Well, I think it was especially jarring. Like, Jordan Dawson wasn't being able to do too much, and Butters was running absolutely rampant. Like, it was one of those awesome games. Like, Dacos was a little bit like this against the Tigers, but that's the Tigers, right? This is power up against Adelaide in a showdown. And he just grabbed the game by the scruff of its neck, ran rampant, did everything, and was absolutely unreal. Honorable mention has to go to Chad Warner. I literally messaged you after his snapping ankles goal and just went.
That was out of control. It was so good.
It was such a good goal. And I can't believe, again, the commentary should have been falling over themselves about how unbelievable it was. And they sort of downplayed it. I'm like, that was unreal. He's just run 40 meters, dropped 3 blokes, snapped one dude in half and slotted a goal from 35 out. It was absolutely amazing. He ended up with 4 goals, 28 touches, unreal game in the losing effort for the Swans. But he has been absolutely amazing, basically since the exact moment that I went, in my Supercoach team, I'm not going to go with my heart. I'll go with the stat. I love me my Chad Chudley Warner. He's my go-to beloved. You want a prancing pony, it's my Chad Chudley Warner.
Yeah.
I went with Took Miller instead. And the moment that Took Miller hit my team, he has been horrible. And since that moment, Chad Warner did the Jordan went, and I took that personally, and has been absolutely carving it up, clearly because I didn't put him on my team. So well played, Chad. How about you there, Jez? Who is your best on ground of the week?
Well, look, he does it every week, and I'm going to give him a special mention for his 37 and 3 goals with Nick Dacos. But it's almost, I want to see more, which is pretty harsh because what more can he do? He is I have to take away the fact that he plays for Collingwood and his last name's Dacos, which is, as an Essendon supporter, I love him. I reckon he's great. I don't get, and I do get the hate that goes his way. It's because of who he is and who he plays for. But there's not much he does wrong.
Yep.
And I think that's what people hate the most about him. But I actually love watching him play. Like the game that you and I went to, he was just, seeing him live is so much better because he's just, you can see the work rate and all the stuff that the cameras don't pick up. So he gets a special mention for that one. But I've got a double this week, and it was a couple of the Roo boys against my beloved Bombers. But the Harry Cheezel had 43 disposals, 15 score involvements at 90% efficiency with just one turnover. And Caleb Daniel, 40 possessions for the second week in a row at 97% efficiency.
Damn.
So whilst their scoreboard efficiency was horrible, these two, it's almost like the old and the young, the master and the apprentice, are absolutely putting on clinics. And if they keep doing that, it's going to be a massive benefit for North. So, yeah, those two can have they can share the spoils, Jim.
I like it. I'm going to buy. Who am I buying a beer this week? Patrick Cripps was just really, really, really solid in that game against the Eagles. But there was like two different moments in this game where Drew, like just two tackles like right in front of us. We were like, oh, Jesus, he hit that dude hard. And then he snapped a goal around the corner in front of us, like off to the angle where we were as well. And that was like an absolutely perfect settling goal. I think did he end up with 2 for the match? Maybe it was, but he was really, really, really good.
I think he did. I think he kicked 2.
Yeah, I think there was the set shot that everyone was like stunned that he kicked it, and he just like I don't know, but it was awesome and he was fantastic. And I think the cool thing about it was like he sort of he didn't control the game in like the way that he has in the past, but he made his presence felt. And like the way that he went up against Harley Reid, you're just sort of going, ooh, that was awesome. You want to talk about master and apprentice? That's exactly what it felt like. This is like last we met, I was a student. Now I am the master kind of vibes. And Harley Reid was like having a go at him, and Crip put him in the dirt. And it was just one of the most insanely excellent things you'll ever see. So
probably one of the few that can actually do that to him as well, which is
the only dudes out there that's actually bigger than him. So
I did hear Cripps saying after the game that he really enjoyed playing against him, and I thought that's why, because he's showing the young buck a few tricks. So
it was awesome. It was a really good game. I really, really enjoyed it. But like it wouldn't be a Gablett area, but you'll buy him a tin after it and just go, that was hella. That was awesome, Cripper. Like you've got, the Squid's got his badge of Cripps on the Carlton hat, and it's like that's why you've got that badge. I love that. So good on you.
Yeah.
How about you, Jez?
I'm going to go with Michael Frederick from the Flagmantle Dockers. He kicked 3 goals in the first quarter, and which, as it turned out, he ended up with 4 for the match. So he beat the Gold Coast Suns pretty much on his own. I think Michael Frederick's one of those ultimate role players. He pops up from time to time with a game like that where he kicks 4 goals out of 10, on a wet day. And he didn't have much of the footy. The ultimate sort of plug and, gap filler kind of player. You always seem to see him when they're under a bit of defensive pressure, taking the intercept mark or the spoil, or you can sort of put him wherever, and he just fills a hole, does, see a need, fill a need kind of thing. And I think he's been one of those, and all the good teams of the last, of all time, Jim, have got these type of players that they don't need to be the superstar, but when it's their turn, they pop up and do what they've got to do. So I think Michael Frederick is probably underrated, and certainly he'd be highly valued by the Fremantle Football Club, Jim.
Yeah. I think they brought that up on the broadcast as well. Like he kicked these 3 goals all from set shots as well. Yeah. And they're basically like throwing that in contrast and like kicked all 3 of them versus like the rest of like Tracy and a miss.
When you combine the scores from the 2 teams, it was 14 goals, 25 kicked for the game. Average, very average.
All right, quick extra bonus spot in award for this week?
Oh, mate, no, mate. 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 Oh, mate, no, mate.
Who's got no mates today? Lockie Schultz. That was weird and very funny. Like the Dan McStay stuff. Like Dan McStay is going, I'm going to put my fist through your head if you don't stop talking to me. It's like, this doesn't happen that often between teammates that you see on an AFL professional level game. It was awesome. So, yeah, Lockie Schultz, he's got that look about him of being the world's most annoying guy as well. It feels like he'd show you pictures on his phone of stuff you do not want to see. Like he's got that vibe.
One of those guys who sends you those emails that you need to delete straight away. Yep. I'm going to flip this one and go Dan McStay, because if you're gonna cut up rough at your teammate who ends up with 4 goals and has a pretty good game, you probably want to do more than taking 3 marks and only just kicking a goal yourself with 80% time on ground, Dan. So maybe just have a look in the mirror before you start. But both of them can go and sit in a corner each and be on time.
Tracks.
Yeah.
The Ben Mackay Spud of the Week, I'll give this to the J Train. I love my Jake Waterman. He was absolutely sight unseen in that Eagles game, to the point where I'm like, he is playing, right? And then quite literally didn't do anything until the very end of the game, where they were essentially dead in the water. I do love, I think he either got a free or took one of their 4 forward 50 marks at the very end. I think it was a mark, right? Because I think Harry Dean had basically just undercut it and Waterman was out the back. And he goes back, goes around the corner and misses it. And I'm like, has he touched the ball? We were up in one of the forward pockets and I'm like looking for him all game. I'm like, he's 2, right? He's number 2. I know this. He did not do much at all. And I love me the J Train. Broke my heart. But I was also happy because I'm like, he's a man who could kick 6 goals on Harry Dean and we just
win the game.
And we put the Harry Dean stuff to bed out of nowhere. And you're like, oh, God. But he got towed up by the man who's going to pop up again for me. So how about you there?
Just a quick note there. He was that bad on Saturday that when the notification came through that a West Coast Eagle premiership player had retired and I saw 2025 leading goal kicker, I thought, oh, really? I thought he'd be going on. That's I didn't think it was Jamie Cripps, but yeah. So look, I have a couple. Probably could have split these, but Josh Rochelle for me, he did kick a goal, but he didn't see a lot of I think he had 9 disposals, which for a guy who carries on a fair bit when he is up and about, it wasn't it wasn't a game that he'll want to remember for any time soon. And the fact that they got beaten so comprehensively and that he had no impact on the game says a bit. And the other one is he plays for your beloved Fold Coast Suns right now, but I feel he might be on your beloved Carlton Blues next year for a fair bit less than what maybe he would have been this time last week. But Bailey Humphrey did absolute sweet FA, Jim. He was basically should have just stayed home.
Yeah, I think the Bombers can have him and my beloved.
We've already got a key forward in the VFL, so he'll fit in well next to Harry McFive, I think. We'll have
Ben Ainsworth. What else? Ben Ainsworth sort of, off the scrap heap from the Suns. He was really, really good in that game as well for the Blues against the Eagles.
Yeah.
He's had a nice, quiet resurgence the last, sort of 4 or 5 weeks as well. Again, under Josh Fraser. He and Will Hayward being used properly, who would have thunk it? Better than Bootsma! Harry Dean again.
Whoa,
if you ask me, he is amazing. An amazing experience. So having seen him in person, what's that now, 4 times, I want to say? First time I've actually watched him without Weeders out there in person. It didn't matter. And now I'm just excited for Weeders to get back because Harry Dean might have needed these sort of 3-4 weeks of just having to have the responsibility of being the dude who has to shut down the guy on the other team. And he has done it each time. It's been remarkable how good he's been. And I do love that he's already turned into a cult hero with the Blues fans.
He was
And
always
so
going
he should.
to. He was always going to be the son of a club legend. So
The worst part behind me and the squid were a couple of old blokes. One was an Eagles fan, one was a Blues fan. They're chatting away, and it's like, as old blokes do, they know everything about everything. He's like, oh, who's 35? Oh, he's really, really bloody good. That was the Blues fan old bloke. I'm like, how do you not know who Harry Dean is? Why are you here? How could you be at a Carlton game and not know who Harry Dean is after this season?
it must have been a day trip from the home gym.
It's kind of sounded like it a lot of the time, actually. But anyway, Harry Dean, absolutely amazing gear. He was so good. So every time, like the only time he got beaten was like literally just misjudging where the ball was going to go. And with his giant lanky arms, threw them up, and it just sailed over his fingertips into basically Jake Waterman's chest. So bit of a tough one, but other than that, and then Waterman still missed the goal anyway. So how about you, Jez?
Look, it was aside from that, it was a pretty lean weekend, and when you've got a team that's basically full of youngsters, I've picked Sam Cumming out of the Tigers. The other one, there's a couple of others that I could go with. Reshko is another one who's been pretty good for the Tigers since coming into the side, but I think Sam Cumming was easily their best, which is pretty good considering he's stop-start a bit with injuries earlier in the year. Looks like he's probably going to be one of their mainstays for a long time. Special mention though to my boy Nate Caddy for taking an absolute screamer. He's been quiet the last probably 4 or 5 weeks, but a lot of that's been the fact that we can't get the ball to him in any kind of decent way. So it makes it hard when you're a lead up forward if they can't kick it to you. So he had to take matters into his own hand and jump on someone's head, which was bloody awesome. So he gets a special mention for me. So please don't go to Tassie. Please.